Hello everyone and welcome back to Townsfolk Tussle, the second of at least 3 games that we're going to do for the channel, because that way we'll be able to see all the ruffian enemies, because there's 12 of them and you fight 4 of them in a game. Not going to go into as much detail about how the game is played this time to try and keep the run time down, although it will still probably be cut into 2 parts. First 2 ruffians, second 2 ruffians. But if you want a more thorough explanation of the game, go watch the part 1 of the first game. But there's going to be a correction to how the shop was done. Realise now that I did that slightly wrong, only slightly, and it wouldn't really have made massive differences to how things played out last time. But in general, we're just getting more used to the game, having played a couple of full games with some friends online again as well. So we're going to run it that if I lose any fights, we are going to carry on in order to see all the ruffians, but I won't take any rewards for any fight I lose. So that way we will get a taste of everyone available for the game that you can fight. And with that, let's look at the characters that are coming this time, because it's different people. So going from left to right, first of all we have Quintus Binch, who is a ruffian in training. Honestly, he's the sole survivor of a scout troop that he got put into to try and teach him discipline, but he bullied everyone to make them leave. He starts with stolen candy that lets him teleport. He has an ability where he can swap places with your team, whether they like it or not, and he can steal from the peddler as well when we're in the shop phase. He has a rubber bat. Then in the middle we have Norman Fishboy. He extends his arms, so any weapon he uses has range, but his base weapon of a reliable rod already has range 2, so it's actually range 4. And he has a fish cap, where if you're fighting a ruffian on a map with the town pond or the wishing well, maybe some other water element, he can use those if he's nearby them to summon fish to hurt people. And then finally we have Granny Melba, who is a promiscuous old lady who's lost her husband and is now returned to her old ways. She starts with a cane and her Rooty Tooty shooter, which can only be used every other turn but does do 2 damage. Her base accuracy though is -2, it's really bad. She makes up for that though by one of her traits, which is Far-Sighted. She gets a bonus up to however many squares away she is from her target, so ideally you want to be far away to shoot the gun. At most I think the gun is range 5. So if you include the minus, the best you can get out of that is a positive +3. But that makes it a 3+ to hit on a D10, which is pretty nice. So that's our team. Again, we're trying not to linger too long, so we're going to go immediately to the first step of the town phase, which is draw 3 feats of metal for each character. So we're starting with Quintus Binch. Multitasker, interact with a train piece and attack ruffian in the same turn. Next card for him, Strategist, reduce the ruffian's movement. That can happen in any number of ways. Safety first, be the only townsfolk at max HP during the fight, so if he gets hit last. And then Norman Fishboy, land the final blow on the ruffian, very possible. Gear deprived, if the ruffian action causes a piece of your gear to be discarded or unequipped, you achieve the feat. Okay. And then, Far Off Fighter, super easy for Norman Fishboy to do, so that's perfect for him. And then 3 for Granny Melba. Pummel Planner, if no townsfolk is at their max HP during a fight, achieve that. Okay, that seems pretty easy. Double feature, if you're inside 2 terrain features in a single turn. For her, with her movement speed of 4, probably not. Let's see. Nimble Trader, sell 2 pieces of gear in a single town phase. See, if I'd gotten this card sooner, I would have realised my mistake with the shopping. But either way, let me tidy those up and we'll move on to town events. Alright, let's see what Quintus Binch is getting for his town event. The Town Wizard. The Eureka Springs Wizard comes hobbling down the road holding a magnificent glowing orb. It's so beautiful you can't look away, you must get that orb. Roll and then include your accuracy. Quintus Binch is a flat 0, so it's just the roll. That's a 5. You plead with the wizard, asking if he's willing to trade for the orb. Don't worry, the wizard says this one's on the house. He hands you the orb and vanishes in a puff of smoke. You receive the Orb of Life unique gear. We've had this in one of the online games we've played. It is very good. It means, I might not be able to find it at a glance. Let's quickly check. Orb of Violence, oh there we go. Orb of Life, and it's just a special item, so it's just in effect. Whenever a townsfolk is knocked out, you pick another townsfolk and they get 1 HP, and it can also never be discarded or destroyed, which is also really, really good. So that is fantastic, that's a good start. Let's put those unique gear cards back and then draw a town event for Norman Fishboy, who I will probably keep on calling Fishman, but either way. Thinning the plot. Hang on. If you're playing solo, ignore this town event. Oh, alright. Next one. Fighting amongst friends. The townsfolk aren't on the same page when it comes to defending Eureka Springs. This is a bad card. You keep it in front of you for the next fight, and if you end your turn next to a teammate, they take 1 damage because the townsfolk are bickering. So I'll keep that up there then. And then 1 for Granny Melba. Sore eyes. I mean, I guess that's fitting. All this fighting has really knocked your head around. Your vision isn't quite what it used to be. You keep this card in front of you, and in the next fight, lose 1 accuracy. Oh no. Well, I'm not going to bother keeping the card in front of her. I'll just lower her accuracy, which puts her at a base -3. That's great. So we're at the shopping phase for the first town phase, and Quintus Binch, his petty theft. When you start this phase, he immediately gets to steal something worth 5 or less coins. There's only one thing that fits that criteria. It's an old belt, and he is yoinking it. He'll equip it into his offhand because he's just equipped with a one-handed weapon. 1 moxie, 3+, 1 damage, but if you miss, you deal damage to yourself. Not exactly fantastic, but you could sell it in the future. So the thing I did wrong in the shopping phase in my live action game I recorded solo, it is true that for each character you can buy or sell 1 thing, but the sequel repeats. The sequence, sorry, not the sequel. The sequence repeats until everybody is done. You don't just do 1 thing per character. So that's what I was doing wrong. And again, because you're playing solo, buying order doesn't really matter, but we can take a look at what's here. Who's got a lot of movement? Everyone's got a lot of movement, really. I think we're going to spend all of Norman Fishboy's 10 on the craggy trousers. Is that a Pokemon reference? So he loses 1 movement, which takes him down to that's not that. Movement takes him down to 3, which isn't great. But he gets 2 max HP, which puts him at 6, so he's tanky. I also need to move where I was deciding to keep the Orb of Life, because he's now got leg gear equipped, but that's okay. So Quintus can still buy stuff as well. He starts with 10, same as everybody else. Let's see, what would be good for him? I'm actually having regrets buying that for Norman Fishboy, because I think the pitchfork might be a better idea. Let's say Quintus buys the trousers. Yeah, because he's got good movement. Yes, okay, never mind. We're going to change that around slightly. Put that back to their base stats. He's going to buy the craggy trousers for his 10 because he starts with movement 5, so he's super quick. There we go. And then Norman Fishboy is going to buy the pitchfork and replace his fishing rod with it. 2 moxie to use, 5+ accuracy required, 2 damage, range 2. He makes it range 4. Seems like a good bet. It's basically just a better version of his starter gear, which we'll put in storage. 2-handed weapon though. And then Granny Melba, what does she need? Let's give her the dog leash instead of her walking stick. Same moxie to use, same accuracy, same damage. Difference is it's range 3, and on a critical, the ruffian loses movement. Okay, so let's see what ruffian we're fighting. So the first ruffian that dares enter Eureka Springs as a chump is Burt Dovis? Burt Dovis. I believe he is a tourist. Yes, here he is. He is the tourist, Burt Dovis. I believe he is literally just a really annoying tourist. He's not here to really cause any trouble. But either way, we will get the table set up and be back then. So we have set up and Mr. Burt is on the field. He's just charging. He's an overbearing tourist is the whole shtick with him. There's a bunch of stuff to interact with that's important. The town pond is there, so Norman gets to do his thing with his fishy cap. There's an old jalopy that if we can get Burt into this line here, we can drive it into him. We can go to the barn and get him to get shot maybe if we get lucky enough. Either way though, he gets to go first. So, hi, my name is Burt Dovis. I love your town. I just got here, yes. And then you run away. So, drop souvenirs. Burt rips his fanny pack. Target all townsfolk within 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is only Norman. Pointy souvenirs fall from Burt's fanny pack. Divide 3 damage between all targets. Move him towards the furthest townsfolk. The townsfolk who took the most damage from this action steals one of Burt's souvenirs. They receive the first bit of gear from the peddler deck worth 7 or less and can equip it immediately. Now, unfortunately, taking 3 damage immediately means that he's on 1 health. because he has 4, so that's not exactly a great start. And his movement is 7. I can't remember if I said his HP is 15 with 3 people. Furthest townsfolk would be Granny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has reached Granny. He wants to go say hello. So the first bit of gear were 7 or less. Nope. Nope. I'll let you know once I draw one that's 7 or less. Those have all cost 12 so far. 12. 14. 9. Come on, 7 or less. There we go. He's found a dead man's head. And he can equip it immediately. It gives him +1 Moxie, and he's allowed to wear another headgear on top of it, so he can keep wearing his fish cap, which is just as well, because he needs it for this particular fight. And he needs to do something of worth, because he might die really, really quickly. So he has 3 Moxie, okay. Does he gain anything for getting hit like that? No, if he'd lost a bit of gear he would have, but no. No, he has to hit a ruffian from 4 away. So, in beaten order, it's actually Quintus Binch that goes first. And from where he's standing, he can actually use the old belt. So he'll do that. He'll spend one of his 2 Moxie to use the old belt. It's a 3+. He's on a flat 0 modifier. Hits almost a crit, so there's 1 damage to Burt. Put him on 14. And then, to change places with someone he needs to use 2 Moxie. He's going to move, and his movement's been reduced to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to send him towards the car to drive it into Burt's face, if possible. So after him, then it's Norman Fishboy. So, let me read this cap. For 2 Moxie, you sling a fish at the ruffian within 4 squares for 2 damage, but you have to be adjacent to the town pond. If he was adjacent, which is there, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's 1 away. Okay, well, we can still set that up though for next turn if he lives. So 1, 2, 3. So Bart is currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. He needs to be there. He's going to attack from there. We'll have to do it next turn if he lives. So, his accuracy though is +2, so this is a 3+ to hit with the pitchfork. Again, the pitchfork is range 2, his long arms give it an extra 2, so, and also he gets the chance to pull targets in. That's a 7, it hits for 2 damage. Bort is down to 12, but unfortunately that's a breaking point, so his turn ends anyway. But let me see, strange attraction, when you hit a ruffian with any weapon, you can pull them up to 2 squares towards you. I'm going to not, but we did hit him from 4+ squares away. So he can either take 3 pennies or +1 accuracy. He doesn't need the accuracy, he'll take the 3 coins. I'll do that during a cut. But for now, Bort interrupts the turn before Granny gets to activate to do selfie with the locals. Target the closest townsfolk. That is indeed Granny. Move towards her. If she reaches them, deal 1 damage. If he reaches them rather, Granny takes 1 damage, goes down to 3. How dare he do that to poor Granny. The target has the perfect opportunity to snatch Bort's precious photo collection. If See It All action card is in play, the target may take an additional 1 damage to remove all counters from it. It is not, so I presume nothing else happens because there's nothing else written on the card. Granny is too close to Bort to successfully hit him well, so we have to move, and she only moves 3. 1, 2, 3. That puts him 1, 2, 3, 4 away. She'll use her Rooty Tooty shooter, and because she's at -3, this balances out at a +1, so it's a 5+ to shoot him with the gun. That would be a 1, so she critically fails, and that would be no to poor Granny. And that is the end of the turn, so let me just get that money for Norman out. So we're right back around to Burt Dovis's turn. Let's see what he does. Ask for directions. Closest townsfolk. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I get to choose. Move towards them. If he reaches them, trigger the after effect. Place the target in the bottom right corner of the landscape, then place Bort adjacent to them. The target's legs are beat. They take 1 damage or lose 2 movement. I can't let Norman get hit because it'll kill him. So it's going to have to be Granny. And he does reach them, so she gets thrown down into the bottom right corner of the map. He's adjacent to them in here, because I guess he forced them to show him around. And they take 1 damage. 1 damage to poor Granny. She's on 2 left. Because neither of them could afford to lose the movement instead, unfortunately. Quintus could have, but not him. So we're back around to Quintus, speaking of which. He could use his once per game to teleport anywhere on the field to get down there. He's got what? 4 movement? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's not good enough. You know what? Let's not bother moving yet. So let's say I haven't moved. He'll spend his only 2 moxie he has to initiate Trickster. Where was he before that? 1, 2, 3, 4. He was there. He's going to switch places with Granny. So Granny gets teleported up to here. Quintus is now down in the bottom right corner. And you have to spend 2 per square in the woods. So he'll move once for 2. And then... well, let's smack him first and then move. Smack him upside the head with the old belt, which is a 3+. And he rolled a 2, which means he hit himself for 1 damage. I should have just used the old bat, even though it was a higher roll. You know, thankfully his HP's been boosted, so he's fine. Then he moved, sorry. So then he went 1, 2, 1, 2. And he got that far away. Then it's Norman, and Norman can't do much from where he is, so instead he's going to start moving towards the barn or the vegetable patch, because he can heal. Potentially, either of those. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's sadly done for the turn. Granny Melba, I don't think he can walk over the card. Does it count as an obstacle? It does. So it's blocking the vegetable patch annoyingly. So Granny just goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And unfortunately that's it. So let's just go straight to Bort's next turn. Trip and slip. Closest townsfolk, that's Quintus. Move towards them if he reaches them, which he absolutely does because he just needs to move once. Trigger the after effect. Bort topples over, slowly returning to his feet. He seems quite unfazed compared to the target flattening beneath him. Bort takes 1 damage while the target suffers 2 damage. So Bort's down to 11, but Quintus is down to... again, thankfully I buffed his HP. That would have killed Granny. He's down to 3 HP because Bort fell on him. Okay. Well, then we're back to Quintus's turn. He's going to try... should I use the old belt? What's the chances of rolling less than a 3 again? Okay. He dealt 1 damage. Puts Bort on 10. And then he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Then for Norman Fishboy's turn, he is moving 4 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not going to be a great turn for actually attacking, actually. 2, 3, where was he? There or there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, he's too far away. We'll just leave him where he was. Straight to Granny's turn. She will walk in front of here. 1, 2. She'll interact with the house and then continue moving. A 3 on the house is ignored, I believe. Yep. So she moved 2, 3, 4. And that's it. They did not... actually, no, her gun is ready this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, but she spent all of her moxie interacting with the house. Well, rather, she spent 1, but you need 2 to fire the gun. Oh, no, sorry, no, the gun is 1 moxie. The dog leash is 2. She'll shoot her gun. She's getting a... 1, 2, 3, 4. She's getting a +1 modifier to this, so it's a 5+. She got him. Put him down to 8. He's 1 away from a breaking point, and it's going to be his turn again. Oh, we were going to do Bort's next turn, however... no townsfolk is at their max HP, so Granny actually achieved Pummel Planner, and she's going to deal 1 damage to Bort. That does trigger the breakout though, or whatever it's called, breaking point. So I'm going to do 2 action cards for him here to make up for that, because that should have happened when Quintus got hit in the forest. Film restock, target none. Shuffle this action as well as every action in the discard pile with a camera on it back into the deck, then play the next action. Okay, let's see how many had cameras on them. Trip and Slip did, Selfie with the Locals did, the other 2 did not. So we've got to shuffle this again, draw another one, so we've still technically got to do 2 cards, so let me just quickly shuffle these. My name is Burt Dovis. It's Dovis, not Davis. He's now doing Capture the Aesthetics. Townsfolk with the most equipped gear. That would be Quintus Binch. Move towards him. If he reaches them, deal 1 damage. He is going to reach them. 1, 2, 3. He easily reaches Quintus and does 1 damage. So he's down to 2. My people are running out of health already. If there's 2+ actions in the discard pile with cameras on them, there is not. So we don't need to do this. Then his other action, to make up for the lost one, see it all. Target none, move townsfolk, pardon me for the beep, move towards the farthest townsfolk, trigger the after effect, then play the next card in the action deck. Furthest one would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's Norman Fishboy. Keep this card in front of the townsfolk. Whenever Burt draws a card with a camera on it, put a counter on this card. When there's at least 5 counters on this card, activate Burt's weakness. Whenever a townsfolk would deal damage to Burt, they may choose to destroy one of his photos instead. Okay, I'll put this down next to the terrain in the bottom left corner since we're not really using that. And we have to play the next card in the action deck. Alright, here is the next card from Burt. Shoulder Slap, the farthest townsfolk, that is Quintus. Move towards the target. If he reaches them, trigger the after effect. Oh dear. Well, 1, 2, 3, he does indeed reach Mr. Quintus Binch. Burt over enthusiastically slaps your shoulder, causing gear to fly right off your body. The target takes 2 damage and unequips a piece of gear of their choice. That's not going to matter because that kills him. So unfortunately Quintus is dead. That triggers Orb of Life though. So I'm going to heal Norman for 1. So he's in for the fighting chance, but he is outie for the fight unfortunately. Not a great start. So presumably don't need to unequip a bit of gear because he will not be back. There's no way to revive him mid-fight because there's no Doctor's Hut. And with that we're caught up and we're straight on to Norman Fishboy's turn. He only has 2 Moxie, doesn't he? Yeah. No, he got that buff, so he has 3. So that means he can interact with the house and also hit Burt. He'll interact with the house first. And 8 means that Quintus is getting shot for... Is it 3 damage? I thought it was 2. Yeah, it is 3 damage, wow. 1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, that triggers a breaking point. And also turns the house off. I have now realised that you flip them over because they have like dilapidated sides. That triggers a breaking point even though it wasn't my people that did it, so I guess we've got to do it. Scrapbook. Closest townsfolk move towards him. If he reaches them, deal 1 damage. Granny takes a damage point because he's right smack dab in front of her. Burt plops the scrapbook onto the target's toes and forces them to flip through the scrapbook. It's unbearable. For each action in the discard pile with a camera on it, the target takes 1 additional damage or lowers their movement by 1. How many? I think there isn't any. Oh no, there is. There's 1. Well, to stay alive, she's got to take the hit to movement. Unfortunately. My dog cries at the window next to me. Because it's that or die. So choose that over death for now. And his turn's over, so he's not allowed to do what I was going to do, which was attack at range. Burt's got 4 health left. And Granny used her gun last turn. So she can't use it this turn. So, what does that leave her to do? Well, she might as well use the dog leash. Wait. I mean, what? It's a 5... 6, 7, she needs an 8, 9 or a 10. Sure, why not? She's got nothing else to do. It rolled onto a 9 at the last second thanks to bouncing off of the bar, and I'll take it. She does 1 damage. And what's the follow-up? She can lower the ruffian's movement by 1, which she shall do. And then she'll run away. She'll go 1, 2, 3 round here and say thank you very much. It's down to the wire and it's only the first fight. Burt's turn. Smiling face, closest townsfolk, that's Norman Fishboy. The target can't help but flee in terror. They move 3 squares further away from Burt. 1, 2, 3. If the target ends their turn inside or adjacent to a terrain piece, they clumsily collide with it. Diagonals do not count as adjacent in this game, it's orthogonal only, so I am not, so he does not take damage. Move Burt towards the furthest townsfolk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's chasing the Fishboy. After effect, the target refuses to move closer to Burt out of embarrassment and fear. On their next turn, they cannot move closer to Burt. That's fine because he loves attacking at range. Speaking of which, it's his turn now. He needs to be adjacent to the 10 pawn, so we're not going to get the chance to do that, unfortunately. I'm not sure if line of sight matters in this game. Like, could he move? Because he's got range 4 thanks to his long arms. 1, 2, 3, 4. So can he kind of go up that way? Because Burt is round the corner. I think it's okay. I might be wrong. Either way, normally a 5+ with the pitch Spork. Oh no, Spork, sorry. But he is +3 to this, so it's actually a 2+. No crits, but that's fine, because that's 2 damage. So Burt is on 1 health remaining. And with that, it's Granny Melba's turn, and her gun is ready. So 1, 2, 3. She's going to show this whippersnapper a thing or two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it balances out at a +2. So this is a 4+. You did it, Granny, but only just. Burt falls in combat. Glorious combat with Grandma Melba. Let me just double check if any other feats got achieved before Quintus died. Be the only townsfolk at max HP? Nope. Was he the last one to get hurt? You know, I think he was. So he's gonna achieve that and take the 3, because he was alive at the time. Because he didn't get hit until he was down there. Reduce the ruffian's movement. He wasn't alive when that happened. Interact with the train piece and attack in the same turn. Nope. So those didn't get achieved. Gear deprived. If the ruffian causes you to drop a piece of gear, nope, that was only on Quintus and he was dead. Land the final blow? No, it was Granny who got the final blow. And then Granny's got Nimble Trader, which doesn't apply during this section. 2 terrain pieces in a single turn? Absolutely not. They each get 6 pennies though, and I need to look out the boss gear. Alright, Bort's gear has been looked out. Fishboy and Granny both achieved a merit card, so they have to roll off for who gets this. Fishboy's roll, that rolled off camera, but it's a 6. Granny's roll is a crit. Granny gets to pick. Granny is gonna pick this one. She took Bort's fanny pack, which is special gear. You may equip accessories in any gear slot, and it's just special, so it just sits in storage. Okay, accessories in any gear slot. That might have an advantage. The other 2 options would have either been Bort's camera or Bort's face. Lovely. Alright, we roll back around to the town phase. So we've rolled back around to town phase number 2 of 4, and I've kept 1 feat on Quintus. He's still got strategist to reduce the ruffian's movement. Norman Fishboy is keeping peacekeeper. He has to land the kill shot. Granny got rid of her unachieved 2 merits entirely. So the first 2 drawn are going to Quintus. Cherished, if you're healed by another townsfolk. It could happen. And he is also into the fray. Start your turn as the closest townsfolk. It's not allowed to be a tie. Okay, we can make that happen. And then 2 more for Fishboy. Unshakable. If your movement, mocks, or accuracy are lowered, achieve the feat. Get +2 moxie for the fight. That's really good. His other one, fight fixated. Purchase no gear from the peddler in this town phase. He doesn't need the accuracy, so I'm not 100% sure on that. And then 3 for Granny. Provoker, trigger a ruffian's breaking point. And that's very easy to do with her gun. Caught in the back, take damage from a ruffian when the target is closest townsfolk. Sorry, farthest. And Rowdy Landscaper, remove a terrain piece from the board. Okay. And yeah, let's just do town events now, starting from left to right again. So this is Quintus Binch's town event. Keep the receipt. You feel the peddler has been ripping you off. Keep this card in front of you. The next time you sell a piece of gear to the peddler, you receive its full value instead of half rounding up or half rounding down, whichever it was. Okay, he's already a thief, so why not? Dying gift, we've seen this before. You find a townsfolk sliced in half. With his last bit of strength, he hands you a piece of paper and whispers, "Please utilize this fantastic deal." You receive a buy one get one coupon. Keep this in front of you. The next time you purchase an item from the peddler shop, you can take an item of equal or lesser value for free. So that would be directly at odds with his not wanting to spend anything at the shop, but what can you do? Then Granny, Hilltop Surprise. Something shiny is hanging from the top of a cliff. It might be worth it. Roll minus the number of bits of gear owned. She is owning 2 bits of gear. So that's a crit, so that comes down to an 8. You're dripping with sweat, but you make it to the top and claim your find. Receive the first card from the peddler deck worth 7 or more. Or more, definitely. Okay. Granny's got a thief bandana. 0 moxie. When attacking this turn, give your daggers and swords. Not applicable to her, I think. Yeah, dog leash is classed as a whip. It would give it +2 range, +1 damage, but then to get it unequipped. Okay, it's not a great bit of gear, but she's wearing a thieves bandana. That's fine. And then we move on to buying. So here's what's stocked in the shop this time, and again Quintus goes first by stealing an item worth 5 or less. He's going to steal the sugar sack, +1 movement, which he doesn't really need. You can also consume it to gain +5 movement, -5 moxie for 1 turn, if you want to go real quick. So he is up to base... Oh, he's back up to his base of 5 because he's getting a negative from his leg gear, because that's chest gear. So that was him just stealing something. Granny Melba's allowed to buy first. She's got just the 6 coins from killing the ruffian. I don't think there's anything here that she could buy the cartographer's map. It lets her start wherever she likes. Yeah, sure. Why not? She'll spend 5 on the cartographer's map. Special gear so it doesn't equip. At the start of the fight, you can place yourself adjacent to any terrain piece. Has to be adjacent, but that's okay. And then it would be Fish Boy. He's got 5, 6, 7, 8. He's got 9. Is there anything you can even buy for 9? You could buy an accessory, a lasso, which lets you slow down a ruffian. Or the purse cutter. No, he can't take that because he's using a 2-handed weapon. The buy one get one free only applies now. Honestly, I don't think he needs anything here, so he's not going to buy anything. Which means he achieves fight fixated. He doesn't need the accuracy, although it would be nice. It basically guarantee he never misses. You know, he's going to take the accuracy for the fight. That puts him at accuracy bonus of 4, meaning that a 1+, barring any negatives, will land on his pitch spork. So that's good enough for me. So that's achieved. I'll sort that. Well, there. And then Quintus, he's got 9, I think, as well. Yep, he's got 9. He could probably, when you damage a ruffian with this weapon, receive 1 coin. If the attack is a crit, receive 2 coins. It's literally just a better version of his bat. Sure, he'll spend the 9 on Purse Cutter and replace his rubber bat, because it is literally just better, because it has that bonus of getting coins on crits and damage. So he's going to equip that. Exactly the same moxie to use, etc. And that cost him 9, so that's everything he had. Almost makes up for him being a thief, sort of. And I think that's it, so we just need to see who we're fighting now. Alright, let's see who we're getting, although those 2 town events related to buying and selling stuff to the shop. It doesn't say you discard them at the end of the town phase, so I think Quintus and Norman keep those. Anyway, we are facing, as our hooligan, Lawman Dozy. Let me grab his card so we can see what he's all about. Where is he? Lawman. There he is, right at the back. He is the town's first sheriff that's gone insane. Now, because he is a hooligan, comatose counterer. When Dozy is asleep, anyone that deals damage to him while adjacent takes 1 damage because he lashes out at them. He's only got 14 HP with 3 people, 6 movement, and his battlefield I'm about to go set up looks a little something like that. Alright, fight number 2 of 4 set up, and because of where Quintus is compared to everybody else, Into the Fray has scored, and he is taking +1 moxie for the fight because he is starting the closest and it's not a draw. So also Granny has the cartographer's map, so she can start next to any terrain piece. She's starting next to the car because she's going to try and drive it right into Dozy if all goes well. It is Dozy's turn to start with though, which might unfortunately move him out of the way. So, dearie me, it's Lawman Dozy. Erratic driver. Uh-oh. Target the old jalopy terrain piece. Move towards it. If he ends his turn adjacent to the target, trigger the after effect. Otherwise, place this card on top of the action deck. He's going to try and get to his card and kill me with it before I kill him. Also, I need to flip his card over so I remember his special rule. He is moving 6. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He is indeed adjacent to it. They set this up so that he could reach it at turn 1. Dozy enters his junker and nails the townsfolk closest to the old jalopy for 2 damage. Place Dozy adjacent to the closest townsfolk and remove the old jalopy from the board. He just did to me what I was going to do to him. Granny takes 2 damage, old jalopy off the board, and he's adjacent, so I guess he'll go here then. That sucks. He stole my strat. If there was any other card on top of the deck, that wouldn't have happened. Alright, well, And Quintus gets to go first, and now he's very far away from his foe. He will use the stolen candy consumable, which is his once per game starting gear. He gets to be placed anywhere on the board he likes for free, just for consuming it. And he'll go to... If he goes in front of here, it's 1 Moxie to interact with that. That leaves him with 2. He could move round and still attack. Yeah, he's going to try and interact with the house, try and get the house to shoot Dozy. 6 is not good enough. It would have healed him though. It would have healed him for 2 HP and the rickety fire. I'm not going to flip it on the map because it's a bit awkward where it is. I'll just flip the terrain card. That didn't work out. 1, 2, 3, 4, right in his face. And he'll use the knife, the purse cutter. So he needs a 5+. That would be a 1. Good job I didn't use the old belt because he would have missed. Not off to the best of starts. Norman Fishboy goes next. He moves 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's too far away. He can't do anything. So it's over to Granny, and Granny's in a spot of bother. She'll shoot him with a gun, first of all. Oh, but she can't do it at point blank range, or her accuracy is too bad. She moves 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that works out at +2. So it's a 4+. Come on. She missed. We're right back round to Dozy's turn. Toppling Crush. Target none. Face the closest townsfolk and move towards them. Deal 2 damage to any townsfolk he collides with. Dozy falls asleep until his next action. So he turns. Does it say he stops when he reaches one person? He targets the closest. Yeah, I guess once he hits the closest he stops then. So it'll be hit for 2 damage and then he falls asleep. 2 damage, so that's Quintus back down to his starting health of 4. And now it is his turn, but if he attacks at close range he gets countered because of the hooligan roll, so he's going to have to back up. He's going to go 1, 2, the old belt has... Oh no, the old belt doesn't have range. That's awkward. That's very awkward. I guess he's just going to move then, because he can't attack at range. He'll move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's going to the vegetable patch to hopefully heal. And with that, it's Norman Fishboy's turn. He can safely attack because he doesn't need to be adjacent. Also, he'll go next to the town pond here. Does he have enough moxie to do both? No. He will simply do his once per battle fishy cap then. He has to be adjacent, target a ruffian within 4 squares, which he is. They take 2 damage. And he can do it from the wishing well as well, but not right now. Unfortunately, that does trigger a breaking point, so Dozy gets to go before Granny. Restless Legs, farthest townsfolk, that's Quintus. Move towards him. If he reaches them, deal 1 damage. If he does not, gain +2 movement instead, then he falls asleep again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He exactly reached him. So that's what, 1 damage? Yep. And he falls asleep again. He's really got to get that narcolepsy looked at. Now it's Granny's turn, but she can't use the gun because she tried to use it last turn. 1, 2, 3. Because the dog leash has range 3 on it, and she'll try and use that. Does the Farsighted apply to... Yeah, the Farsighted does apply to the leash as well, actually. So she's getting +3 from that, which cancels out her -2, so it's a 4+ overall because of the +1. It's going to be one of those fights, huh? Okay. That is everyone's turn. Back around to Lawman Dozy. Pluck and Crush. Townsfolk with the lowest total number of merit points. I believe that is Quintus, but let me double check. Wait, no, he has achieved 2 and they're both worth 1. He's achieved 2 and they're both worth 1. Oh no, it's Granny! It's Granny! Well, he's easily going to reach her, so she takes 1 damage and is on 1 health. If there are 4+ townsfolk on the board, nope. He would have set her HP to 1 regardless, had there been. Okay, Quintus is up. could spend 2 Moxie to change places with Granny, and then because of the bonus he has for the fight, he can still attack. Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do. So that means Granny can get to the vegetable patch to heal. So he's going to swing the purse cutter. It rolled off the board, but it was a 6, or rather off camera, so it hit him for 1. Also gives him 1 penny for hitting the ruffian, which I'll grab now because otherwise I'll forget. 1 penny on Quintus. Then Norman Fishboy, he's going to attack at range with his pitchfork. So he's getting a +4 to this, so it's a 1+, but we roll anyway to see if it's a crit. And he hits him for 2. And then... I'm not sure. Oh, I had to edit out a sneeze there. Apologies for stopping mid-thought. Let's move Norman 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Granny Melba, she used the dog leash last turn, I believe. So this turn she can use the gun. She will. From maximum range. That hits thanks to her bonus of being farsighted for 2. Unfortunately, she isn't going to be able to continue her move. Actually, is she 5 away? 1, 2, 3, 4. She should have been there. She had enough movement. It was just to get the maximum bonus, otherwise that would have been a miss. She triggered the Ruffian's breaking point, which does mean, though, she gets Provoker, and she's going to do an additional 1 damage to him with it. Take that. Puts him down to 6. He feels like he's tough, but he doesn't have a lot of HP. It would have been his turn anyway, though, so unfortunately he gets to do 2 cards in a row. Blow for blow. Townsfolk with the highest feats of metal. That is, I think everybody's a draw at 2 each. So I guess we'll say Quintus because he's right there. Move towards him. If he reaches him, deal 1 damage. Okay. 1 more damage to Quintus. He's on 2 health remaining. I see Dozy is... Lawman Dozy is perfectly fine with beating up a child. Dozy leaves himself wide open, taunting you to hit him back. You may immediately attack Dozy with an equipped weapon for 0 Moxie. An accuracy score is still required. If you do, Dozy plays an additional action after this one. Nope. Because he's already doing an additional one. He's not getting 3 turns in a row. That's not fair. Detain. Townsfolk with the lowest feats of metal. That's still Granny. Move towards them. If he reaches them, deal 1 damage. He has killed Granny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's off the board. So the rest of it wouldn't have mattered, but he arrests them for the record. You become stuck to him. But again, he killed her, so it doesn't matter. So, that means Orb of Life kicks in, and I'm going to heal Quintus by 1. And then think about how we're going to get out of this problem. I was just thinking there, does Cherished score because of that? Granny dying triggered Orb of Life, which in turn healed Quintus, and Quintus has, if you were healed by another townsfolk, achieve this feat. I think that would count, because he was healed by another townsfolk. It just so happens that death was the thing that caused the heal. He doesn't need the movement really, but the 2 coins is pretty irrelevant. Yeah, he'll take the movement. It might matter. Puts him at movement 6 for the fight, which is pretty good. And it is his turn. He can't walk through Dozy, unfortunately, so he's blocking the vegetable patch. He'll walk up and smack him. 1, 2, 3, 4. Smack him with the purse cutter. Got him. No crit though. Dozy is down to 5 health remaining. That is another +1 penny because of the purse cutter. As the penny rolls away. And then it's Fishboy's turn. He wants to be at range 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He wants to be there. Sorry, there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And attack with the pitchfork on a 1+, which he got. And just to be clear, it's normally a 5+, but he's getting positive +4 to the roll, meaning he can't miss. So we just roll to see if it's a crit. That unfortunately does put him on 3 health remaining. Triggers a break point though, so Dozy gets 2 turns in a row again. Sleepwalker. Move towards the closest townsfolk if there's 3+ on the board to trigger the after effect. Nope. So I guess we just stop right there. He's already at the closest townsfolk. Next card. Maybe Granny dying was a good thing. Lesson in punishment. Townsfolk with the lowest feats of metal. That would now be... Is it the lowest amount or lowest points? Lowest points. I think it's a draw. Move towards the target, and if he reaches them... Oh, they have to achieve a... If he reaches them, they have to automatically achieve a feat and take damage equal to its value. And you don't get any of the reward for it either. Also, if you pick one that's 0, like a feat that's worth 0 points, you're killed instantly. Okay. He'll say that he's going towards Quintus then. Quintus will achieve Strategist. Again, you get none of the bonuses, so he takes 1 damage because it's a 1-pointer. And that puts him on 2 health remaining. And the after effect, yep, that's what we did. It's their turn, and it's theirs to win. We can kill this guy. They both need to land a hit, so Quintus is going to use the old belt because it's the best chance he's got to land a hit. He did, for 1 damage. He has 2 Moxie left. There's no point in him swapping places with Fishboy, actually. He might as well keep blocking. Fishboy, 1+, we've already won. 7. He has indeed toppled over Dozy. Now, because of Dozy forcing Quintus to achieve that card, he's the one that has achieved the most metal cards, feats of metal, during this fight. So he's getting one of Dozy's rewards, while poor Granny's eating dirt. Everyone still gets 6 coins though, but let's see what he gets reward-wise. So I've looked at the cards, but actually Norman landed the death blow, so he got Peacekeeper. So he's getting 3 pennies for a start, but that is also 1 more merit point. I'm not sure how many total cards were earned in that fight for each of them. Let me see here. That was 1 forced upon Quintus. That was 1 worth 0. I think actually it is Norman now. Let's just double check again. Purchase no gear. I mean, that wasn't in the fight. You don't get any of the rewards for the one that Dozy forced on him, so I'm going to say that Norman earned it, because he did earn it. He's the one doing damage. So, there's 3 rewards to pick from. We're going to pick this one. Fake Badge. It's an accessory. When any townsfolk accomplishes a feat, you restore 1 HP. That's pretty decent. Okay, so that goes in his accessory slot, right there. So, everyone's getting 6 pennies. Norman's getting 3 more on top of that. They have a lot of money, well, Granny doesn't, but the other 2 have quite a bit of money to spend in the shopping phase. But we'll open up part 2 of this game in a different video with that shopping phase, and we'll be facing down the last 2 ruffians in game 2 of Townsfolk Tussle. Look forward to that, hopefully very soon, maybe tomorrow, I'm not sure. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and ta-ta for now.